So the first order of business is to review the minutes of September 16 and to approve them. I have a motion to approve. Oh, Adrian, I'm glad you said that. So Adrian, did I hear?
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I wasn't there, so I'll make a second.
Okay, I'll second them then. Okay, so we're going to be reviewing the new courses offerings at the high school. And as I said before, they're quite exciting, at least in my view. So
Point of order, do we have to vote?
the first,
Or do you just accept?
oh, thank you.
Okay.
Would you say that again, Mike?
I just wondering if it's tradition to actually vote to approve the minutes. We don't have to, but
I think they just accept them, don't they?
well, we just made the motion. That's why.
I think we had a motion to accept them and a second.
But no vote.
And as I recall, that's what we do.
Yeah. It should be.
Okay. So the first one that's on my list is the
Actually, we do have.
unified.
I'm
sorry.
I'm looking at September 16th minutes, and it has in the July meeting was motion to approve and then motion passed. So we do need to vote on that.
And let us vote.
I vote in favor of moving them.
And I'll abstain.
Okay. All right, moving along. So Mrs. McKenna is here. And Amy, do you want to give a kind of like an overview of what we're going to hear tonight?
Definitely, I'd be more than happy to. I am equally excited about the new courses to be proposed tonight, as well as the curriculum document that Mrs. Norika has prepared for us this evening. And one of the reasons that I'm most
Oh, yes.
I know exactly right.
share.
Can you hold on a minute? I can't hear. It seems to me that there's double talking. Okay. Amy, you want to start again?
Sure. I'm eager to share these new courses with you.
Could you say who you are and your position?
I would love to, sure. Amy McKenna, Assistant Principal, Fitch High School, and I'm here to help represent the music and art departments and also our interdisciplinary departments. So we have a few courses that we are sharing with you this evening. Two of them would fall under our category of interdisciplinary. Both of them help expand our pathway to, I guess you could say, Connecticut's sort of grow your own program for, educators. So two of the courses.
Yeah, agenda, minutes, unified music proposal,
Clint?
sports photography.
Can we stop for a moment? If you want to speak, raise your hand and I'll call it.
Apologies.
Excellent, I'll continue. So, two of them are to expand our education pathway. So currently, right now, on the books, we have Ed Rising 1, which actually tripled in size from its opening year, which was last year, to this year. So Ms. Becky is here to talk to you a little bit about a new course proposal for Ed Rising 2, which her current Ed Rising students and former students from last year have expressed great interest in. Another course that we will be reviewing this evening is a curriculum review of a special education class. And that is the curriculum document that Mrs. Norika has provided. That course was already approved and that one is up for curriculum review. I know I'm skipping a little bit ahead on the agenda, but that would be our education pathway, which we're very excited to expand at Fifth High School. I think it's an exciting offering because we have a lot of students that are interested in becoming teachers. Secondly, we have two new unified courses. Actually, sorry, one new unified course that is also up for approval. It's for unified music. And I know Ms. Hopkins will be speaking to you a little bit about unified music. But if you recall, our unified classes they're basically in partnership with typical peers and also our special education students. So anytime we get an opportunity to kind of expand the elective choices for our special education students, we're excited about it. But we're doubly excited because we also think that our expansion of unified electives helps also expand that education pathway that we are really working at in terms of giving students experiences in not just education classes, but classes where they're working with our special education students as well. Lastly, we have another course proposal for sports photography. It also is something that expands a pathway that we have been working on quite a bit. Our photography classes are always completely enrolled and very popular, but recently we have our journalism classes that are continuing to kind of gain momentum, and our Falcon Press also is gaining a lot of traction. So to add a sports photography class would be great to have those students maybe working in conjunction with our journalism group and our Falcon Press group. The sports editor at the day has reached out to Mr. Romano also to see if there are students that want to start covering Falcon sports. So the sports photography class, again, expands the sports and journalism pathway for students. So we're kind of excited that all of these are really classes that we think that students will love.
Amy, thank you. I wanted to move on to going to into the individual teachers to explain the courses that are being proposed. And then Amy, maybe you can wrap up at the end. Would that be acceptable?
That sounds great. I'd love to invite them to join me at the table at this time, if that's okay. I have
Yes.
Mrs. Becky is here for the Ed Rising 2 class. And also our Art and Music Department Chair of Arts, Karna Hopkins, will be speaking to you about unified music and also sports photo.
Okay, so Stacy, I believe
Oh,
you are the person. So do you want to talk? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep, I'll be just answering any questions that anybody has about the curriculum that I believe was sent to you for the EC class Intro to Special Ed.
Give us some, I know we all got the things and we all looked at it, but I really want to hear from you about what your visions
Yeah,
of the state's journey.
so
I have a question before we get started.
yes.
Do the Ed Rising 2, I can't find that in the packet. Do we have that?
I do.
Maybe I'm not seeing it. I see unified music, sports photography, FC 1100, but I know not, at least online, I'm not seeing that.
Did you guys get the Ed Rising 2 in your packet?
Hmm.
Do you know?
I thought I did.
I don't have a hard copy. I just have what's online.
Unified music?
No, the Ed Rising 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
You want me to make copies? Did everybody get it?
I don't think I have it either.
Oh, it's.
Oh, that was lovely.
So, yeah, I don't think we have this in our packet. Do you have this? It looks quite different.
Here,
I think that
here, Mike.
is probably they should have been some for us.
Yeah, we don't.
But I think this Friday did producing us.
Yeah,
Oh, so it wasn't in these.
it wasn't originally when I had looked at it and then I forwarded it to her. So,
A little bit late,
Yeah.
and so Erica gave it to me in a hard copy to get to you tonight.
Okay.
So just to backtrack, are we starting with the new course proposals? Item 3 on the agenda, is that where we are?
Or you could do, it's up to Andrea Ackerman. She's running the meeting. So I guess we're going in order. Are we going in order?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I thought in the beginning that I didn't have it. And then I went through it again. And maybe I misinterpreted what I was looking at. Because I thought that I see Ms. Hall and Ms. Scala. And something else. Yeah, introduction to the Yukon. Yeah, EPS. That's you, isn't it? Is
That's
that the
me.
one yeah, is that the one you're saying that you don't have?
No, we've got Stacy Noriko's. Hers shows up as number 4, review of ECE Yukon Intro to Special Education Curriculum.
Right, okay. Well, let's start with Stacy anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully you had some time to review the curriculum. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Stacy Narika, special ed
I'm-
teacher.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt again. So we're not on item 3, we're gonna move to item 4 on the agenda? Is that what's happening? I'm confused where we are.
Starting with 4, with Stacy.
Okay, I'd like to say something before we cover this topic. This is UConn Early College Experience. In my professional capacity, I overlap with the ECE program, so I will not be voting on this. Or comment.
Okay.
Okay, good. So, I'm a special ed teacher at Fitch High School. I've been there for 30 years. This opportunity came up in an effort to Fitch High School is trying to increase their number of classes offered through the UConn ECE program. And I was super excited to see this. I more and more am asked questions because of the increasing amount of opportunities that Fitch offers through Best Buddies program, Unified Sports, Unified Arts. There is a lot more inclusion happening at the high school. And so working with those programs, I work with a lot of the typical peers who ask a lot of questions about our kids and my job in particular. So this is a great opportunity to get kids into a real opportunity to learn more. So that's kind of why I jumped on this class to get more involved. I'm not really sure what else I'm supposed to say. Overview of the curriculum is basically starting out with having the students understand exactly what special education is, learning more about the kids, and then secondly, delving into each of the disabilities that you might see within certain kids, and then finally finishing with careers that are possible as a special education teacher, both inside of the school and out, as well as related service personnel. Yeah, I don't know what else you.
So I can add to that,
Yeah.
Stacy, because we were privileged to get the award for the dual enrollment grant, and a lot of hard
Mhm.
work has been done
Right.
around that to include, more of the UConn credits. So, that is a real plus and a real mission that we're on. And in addition, we really want to make sure that our teaching population will look more like the community and the kids that sit in front of them. So in doing so, it's really important that we grow our own kids that are at Fitch High School now know that this is a wonderful career pathway, and we would be excited to help support and facilitate their desire to teach someday, if that's what they want to do.
Mhm.
So I do see this as really a wonderful opportunity for them to get those college course credits, and also to find a pathway that they may love as much as we do.
Yes,
Let's
and
say-
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, what I was
No,
going to
no.
say is that I've done a lot of informal shadowing of students, having them shadow me, setting up opportunities at other schools for our Fitch High School students to kind of see what special education looks like. So the desire for this curriculum is definitely there at the high school. So I'm really excited about
Good.
that. And in addition, outside of what the students who may take this class will get, I think it's just good for our whole community. Like, it's just knowledge about the special education population and seeing what a critical role they play in our school. So
And when will this course be offered?
the hope would be that it would be offered next year.
And the curriculum written this summer?
The curriculum I've already written. Once it was approved, I've already written the curriculum. So
Was the curriculum kind of standardized because it was UConn credit, so you had to work with UConn in order to be
so
able to
yep,
deliver
as
this?
part of
So-
getting part of getting approved to be accredited through UConn to teach this class was developing the syllabus, and the syllabus is based on the books that they want you to use and the topics that they want you to use. It was kind of just fine tuning it for the high school schedule, etc., that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I've been reading the books and it's really very exciting. Yeah.
Before I ask for questions from Mike and from Adrian, are you going to be the teacher, or are there several teachers? How's this going to work?
I'm the one that is, and Amy can probably speak more to this, but I'm the one that's got the paperwork from UConn to be able to teach the class. Yeah.
Very well. Adrian and Mike, do you have any questions?
It sounds like a great class to me. How many students do you think would be in, or how many are you planning on enrolling, or what's the capacity of the class?
I think the capacity of the class is based on Fitch rules regarding that. I'm not exactly sure what our current ECE classes are. The materials are also already ordered through the grant program. So that's one great thing. Like, they're literally just sitting in my room ready to go. So we have enough for 25 students at this point. So I'm not sure what Fitch will decide on that.
Does UConn have a limit of number of students to take
I
the
think it
course?
depends a lot upon which program. They're very departmentalized.
Yeah.
So certain departments do have like caps for the classes. I did not yet in the year, but they're being not included. There is a cap for this particular class. But with the excitement that's with the rising classes, we do expect, we hope to offer a class that's fully enrolled. I think there are a lot of students that have taken and rising and want to know what else they can take.
Yeah.
They have partnerships already within the community. They volunteer after school at our elementary schools in various capacities, and they're eager to get credentialed and take on more coursework. And this would be a great fit.
Yeah, and separately, one of my children is in Ed Rising, and they love the class, and we're wondering why they took it this year and not in their senior year. And now he will be very happy to know that there's more options. So there is that for kids to maybe push them into Ed Rising junior and then continue in senior year.
Most of these programs almost require that, actually, when you say that, you know, that it takes 11th and 12th to do a CP or a DP or APs. I mean, it takes a couple years for these programs, you know, to get everything that you want out of them.
Yeah.
It's good that she took it. Or he took it. He's taking.
So coming from a teaching family, not that I'm a teacher at all, but my wife and hopefully maybe some of my children, you know, I appreciate more of these classes in high school.
So are there any more questions for Ms. Naraka? If not, we'll move on. On my list, do you have another question, Mike?
No,
So the unified music is next.
All right, I'm Karna Hopkins. I teach art at the high school and I'm the art and music department chair. We already currently have unified art, unified culinary, Unified P and personal finance, or is it business? Personal finance. So the music has been on our radar for years now, and we just haven't been able to push it through with just changes and this, that, and the other thing. But it's something that Sandy Hall is passionate about. She would be the teacher, the music teacher teaching the class. And clearly there is a need it would be great. I'm happy to be hearing about Stacy's the ECC class, because I think it would be perfect for those students to come. We definitely have already built a concrete. When I say we, I mean Stacy and Christina Scala have built the Best Buddies, the Unified Sports. So we get a lot of those kids already in these classes, the typical peers. But what we also get is kids with 504s who have some anxiety and stuff. So they're put into some of these unified classes as well. And it kind of gives them a little confidence too, because they are seen more as the typical peer than they are. And I think that gives these, a ton of confidence. So the way that it has worked, or how we would like it to work, is having enough typical peers to be with those special ed students, so that they can kind of create a bond. And there are obviously certain levels of the special ed. Stacy and I co-taught in our class where we had a little bit of everything. And so it was great because we were able to pair kids with the appropriate kids, and they actually created some nice relationships with each other that carried on after, because they've been caught in like video games and stuff. So, but we do have a population of severely or more severe disabilities, which is what I have currently. And it's nice to have those typical peers who are able to, sit in the room and understand, when kids are stemming, and that, it's okay, and that they try to help refocus them. So I think for our typical peers too, it's a huge asset for them, even if they're not going to be a teacher. I mean, they're always going to be dealing with different people in their life. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on a tangent. Does anybody have any questions? I think there's obviously a need for the class. I definitely think we'll have students who will want to take the class. As far as expenses, so I mean, there's adaptive instruments. We've talked about, Amy and I have talked about with Sandy, also trying to get things donated from the public, a lot of our teachers in general. But it would probably most likely be under 500, and that's even, I think, I don't think it's going to cost. I don't think cost should be an issue.
And maybe the teacher's time and schedule, right?
I think it would fit.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. I understand.
So how do you see this fitting into the school day?
Into the school day, well, the students already, the special ed students already have electives kind of built into their day. So they, like this semester, they have art, unified art. Next semester, they will have unified foods. So that part's already built in. Having the music would just be a huge asset to the rest of the teachers that are already teaching these classes, because then we could back that up with personal finance and music.
Right.
So they would always have that alternative.
It'll be an elective then, it'll be a choice.
For
Yes.
everybody, right? It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice for all of the students, and we don't have all of the. Yeah, it's always a choice, I guess, so yes.
Yeah, I do think it also gives us a chance to offer those particular special education students some variety in their schedule, because if we're offering art and PE and foods regularly, to begin to offer more electives for them regularly would be nice. That way, one particular student wouldn't be taking art all 4 years, they get to explore with music as well. And that is an equity piece, because a typical peer has such a vast array of electives at Fitch, So what we're trying to do is, as best we can, is to offer, I think, more unified electives in areas that would be considered high interest. Because it would cast a wide net, because we would have music students as well that would want to take unified music as an elective, and then you have the students that are interested in education. And then obviously, we have a really strong typical peer group that does participate in unified sports. So now all of a sudden, we have three large groups of students that would want to take unified music. So we really are hoping to put some variety in the day of our special education population, and then appeal to the typical peers as well.
I also think
Well,
too, it.
Let me understand. I-
I'm sorry.
Let me cut you off for just a moment. And that is, let me understand, I may have misheard this, but did I hear you say that a student might take art more than once? So this is not like art, then finance, and then PE, and then foods, or in whatever order that might be. So they don't move through those electives, they just, whatever fits in the schedule, that's what they get. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. For some of the students with IEPs, we do want them to have a unified class within their day. So if we are offering additional classes such as unified music, it does give them a chance to not take the same courses year to year. Right now, we only offer so many. So we're hoping to develop a few more high interest ones in fields that we think that those students would enjoy. And they already really enjoy music. And we should have a class for them. I think that we think it's a long time coming.
So
Okay,
they
so
could
the,
grow
so
this
then-
unified
then-
program.
Yeah, there's adaptive music and adaptive art per se and unified. So those are, in my mind, essentially two different curriculum. As far as the ability level of what those two groups could do. Right now, my group is mostly adaptive, so planning wise, it's, I can plan for the adaptive. Whereas when we mix some of the higher level students with the lower level, it does get into like, okay, I did this project last year, can I do it again if they're repeating? So I think also having music helps the planning, helps the teacher plan appropriately for the students that we're gonna have in the class, if that makes sense.
let me ask my question again. So a student may then take art all 4 years, all 4 semesters? I'm not understanding that.
Sure,
Or
so yeah, I would say a typical peer probably would not be enrolling in unified art all 4 years. But for the students in our specialized classrooms, they can only take what we can offer, but we do want to make sure that all of them get a chance at an elective offering every day.
I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a few.
Mhm.
So I can see the broad need for this. I do have questions. One thing generally, it seems like, so I'm new on the committee, but it seems it'd be beneficial to always have a model syllabus or course objectives along with this information. So I suggest we've got this Groton Public Schools request for curriculum modification, and that form has been filled out and everything has been answered. But we should have an additional one. What is like, how many credits, what department would it be in, how frequently be offered, those sort of just facts, and then like a model syllabus, learning objectives. It's not encapsulated in the form that we have. So those are the questions I'm gonna ask about. Is it a full year course? Is it 1 credit?
Half.
So it's half.
And I think that's the understanding, is that if we do get approved to move forward, then we would be creating all of that stuff.
And so
And
this is,
then,
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, I can't move forward until I have the okay.
But they will create a map like the one you saw.
and then, so that's my next question, actually, is it, Is this sort of a from scratch development of a course, or are there existing models in other school systems that?
They're definitely different. There are models already set up in different schools. So yeah, we wouldn't be starting from scratch.
Okay, because at this level of detail, I certainly support it, right? But, you know, there isn't. I can see how it fits in the curriculum, that's what, very effective in terms of the form. But, seeing into what the course is like and.
So that happens at the next step, you know, our process takes quite a while to get
Okay.
through the whole process before we put it in a book for kids to see, a handbook or, you know, to choose from. So the next step, once you all say, go ahead, off you go.
Yeah.
They write the curriculum, there's a whole handbook on what has to happen. So they're filling in the curriculum map that has all the goals and objectives and standards and the time frame and the assessments. It's, you know, I think you've seen it. It's, you know, I think that, trying to see what you received. Did we get a map, a curriculum map from
The UConn.
Stacy?
Yes,
UConn.
right,
So
yeah.
similar to that.
Yeah.
They would come back with.
And before Stacy wrote UConn EPSY, she came in with this similar form that Unified
Yeah.
Music has and Ed Rising Two has today.
So she's already did
Yeah.
that.
A quick overview before getting permission to write. I think, because curriculum writing is also a financial investment that Groton Public Schools makes, right, in any new course.
Right.
So it's kind of like coming with a new course proposal is that first step before the district makes the investment in writing the curriculum. You know, just write the curriculum before a board committee gets to see it,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Amy, I don't know who's speaking, but, because I can't see it, but, when is the course going to be offered?
We would be hoping to be able to offer it next year. One of the reasons is because it is almost like zero cost to low cost. We don't think we're going to need a great investment from the board to actually obtain the instruments. We already had some grants that we were kind of eyeing to get that into play. And we also know that there is a vibrant music community here with youth in Groton, and we do think a lot of people have instruments in their houses that they probably willingly donate to such a program. I think we're not worried about obtaining the instruments. So if we were able to have curriculum money allocated, I do know that the teacher would very much love to be able to write the curriculum this year, to have it ready for students next year, if that was something that the board and the curriculum committee did indeed approve.
And I think we could have
That-
the timeframe. I think we can bring it back to this committee and then to the board to have it move forward. in a
That's my
time-
next question, Susan, is will we write the curriculum this summer?
I don't know if she could get started during the school year, if that's possible.
If it makes.
Oh, all right.
If it's allowed, we would definitely start.
Then they'll start it as soon as we say off you go,
Yeah,
to go right, and,
We
you know,
definitely
bring
want
it
it
back,
next
so they can bring it back to you before it goes in the handbook, like, you know, we've had it happen in the past, or the.
Well,
Courses.
that should not happen. It
No,
should not
that's
go
what
in.
I'm saying, that's why we're trying to get it in now.
So it may be as soon as January or as late as June, correct?
I would say it could happen more January through to the spring, so we can get it back to you in time.
All right.
Well, and thank you for helping me with the process.
Yeah, it's quite a process.
And that's good. I understand why it would be. You mentioned curriculum, funding for curriculum development. What form does that take? Is that sort of supplemental and akin to you know, addition for running a club? Like where's that funding? Or I was thinking it'd be released from teaching duties to work on development, but.
No, there are some times that when during their professional learning, there can be some curriculum writing or some collaborating on lesson planning, but this would be specific to the teaching and learning budget that comes through, and it's per their contract. There's a certain amount of money per hour for them to do that work after school hours. So, and we have to predict the areas that we're writing curriculum on the year ahead. Even though we're just learning about this course, but we always set aside a certain amount, especially for high school new courses, middle school new courses with wit and wisdom. We knew that would be impactful, so we tried to forecast ahead the game for this.
Excellent, good.
So it's
Yeah.
20 of 5. And we want to
That's-
also get to sports.
Yeah, I
Photography.
just, I have
So
one
if you,
quick,
if you have any other questions, now's the time.
yeah, I won't repeat those for the others. I just asked that because I knew I had them for all of them. Just the projected enrollment for the course.
I would say, I mean, right now it's about at least 15. Yeah, I would say 15.
And this feels like kind of course you'd want to keep smaller rather
Yeah.
than larger.
Yes, there are a lot of bodies in the room. There, with, you know, paras and other, co-teachers, so it is, yeah, 15. It's pretty manageable. Stacy could answer that too. She's co-taught some of these too, so.
Thank you.
I agree.
Any other questions? So Amy, do you have anything else that you want to wrap up before we go to the sports photography?
I think, the Ed Rising 2 and the sport photography was the next two.
Ed Rising 2 comes next, Andrea.
Oh, dear.
That's right.
All right. All right.
That's all right. We have Ms. Palawaki here.
Okay. So I have the pleasure of teaching the year 1 Ed Rising course. And this is my second year teaching it. As Mrs. McKenna mentioned before, it did triple in size this year, so we went from having 8 students to 20. So it's been really, really nice to see all the kids that are interested. Before I little talk about the course, I think something that I've noticed with the increase in numbers is it's not only students that want to be teachers, but students that are like, they think maybe I want, like, let me try this out. And like, I actually have probably like 5 or 6 kids that are gonna choose different career pathways, but they're taking the course because they enjoy working with kids and that they recognize that, you know, their role, like while they might not be a classroom teacher, they are gonna be a teacher at some point in their life, you know, maybe if they're having like a supervisor position at a job or just like learning how to work with people. So that's some of the feedback I have gotten from a few of the kids that are just taking the course because they enjoy communicating with, you know, some of the younger students that we get to go in and observe with. So I think that, as was mentioned before, building this like career pathway thing is very beneficial for our students because it's giving them some experience that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So, the year 1 course kind of goes into really like who you are as a person and the type of characteristics that you should have when you go into teaching. So some of the things we've been talking about so far is how to be a professional, understanding bias, and now we're talking about understanding equity and stuff. So again, kind of things that just like create a good human being. But then like, how do we transfer that to the classroom and that type of thing? And then they're working really closely with some of our elementary schools, Thames River Magnet specifically, and the middle school they go to every other Friday. The year 2 portion of the course is something that we actually already paid for through our purchasing of the Ed Rising curriculum because it is a state initiative. So we had purchased that and we actually already have like access to the year 2 curriculum. So I started looking at it and I started surveying the kids and they were really interested in pursuing a year 2. So while it review and refreshes the first year course, it also kind of takes more of a deeper dive. So students are going to be working more closely with teachers in the year 2. They're going to be assisting and teaching a lot more than they have this year. This year's a lot of observations that build up to like, you know, one final lesson that they will teach within the class. The second year is more of like interacting throughout the year and teaching lessons and stuff like that, and then building a teaching portfolio that they can bring to college with them about like all the different lessons that they taught. You know, they would get recommendations from their teachers they worked with, and then also within all of their lessons, they would also have like a reflective portion. So, you know, when they're going to apply for a job, that's something that they can bring with them, but of course attached to their job application. And I think just sitting on, you know, the end of being on an interview committee, having something like that, like if a teacher submitted something like that, that would be just so cool. But also like when they're applying to these teaching programs, like to have that, it puts them at an advantage already. And then also with them working within the district, like it makes them want to come back and work here as they get to know, like, you know, their teachers kind of in like a different way. Like I've had a lot of, when they go down to the middle school, like our teachers down there are just so excited to have high school students, and the kids just like light up too when they see. I've been able to, you know, observe some of them in the field, and it's just really nice to see. So I think this course would be beneficial because it allows our students that take year one that really decide that they want to be in the teacher career, that they can pursue it again. Of course, the first year, the class that it runs, the class would be smaller because you'd have to take year one as a prerequisite. And right now, you know, most of the students in the class are seniors, but there are 7 or 8 that are in there that have expressed that they would take the course again. And I think what we could do is open up year one to even sophomores, since if, you know, they could open that up, so then we could get more students interested in the year two. Because I had a lot of students that are currently seniors now, like this, a few of them that took it last year were asking me last year if they could take the course again because they liked it so much and they liked working with our within our community. So I know some of those students have found ways to still continue working with our younger students, but it would be nice to like offer them like the next step, the next level of this course. So I attached like the proposed plan that comes with the Ed Rising curriculum. Of course, I'd be more than happy though to put it into a, you know, a more Groton Public Schools accessible curriculum development plan. I can do that. The only other thing is this course isn't attached to like UConn, ECE or anything like that. I'd have to, if this was approved, I'd have to like reach out to UConn, or I know like ECSU also offers stuff like that as well if we wanted to have it be a dual credit. But I think students would take it either way because they're getting that like tutoring experience. And I think one other thing I'll add is I was talking with Miss Carmita Hodge, and she's like starting to embark on like a tutoring thing with our kids. And we had talked about getting, I think she was working with that BSU, I can't remember correctly, but one of the grants that we get for this class is to try to get students of color and like multi-language learners into the course as well. And then like create tutors from that to go down and assist as well. So we were talking about like maybe attaching like year two with like more of like the tutoring opportunities as well, and see where those go. I think that's it. If anybody has any questions.
I just have one quick one. You answered most of them. How many, was it full year or half year?
So the year one course is full year.
Yeah.
And then this would also be another full year. It could be taught in a half year. It would just be super condensed.
Yeah, it looked like it would be.
Yeah, because like the way when I'm looking at the curriculum now, like they have options where you could teach like a 1-day lesson. Like they have like lesson ideas on there. A lot of the times I have to like add stuff or, you know, like create things. I can't just go directly off the slides, even though that they are very in depth. But they have options where you could do it all in 1 day. And then when you compare it to like a 3 to 5 day lesson, it just takes so much away from the students. So I'd like to offer it as like a full year.
And then you'd mentioned sort of the kind of the projected first year enrollment that it would be, but I would guess this could be expandable too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think if I got students, you know, more students like sophomores involved too, then it opens up a lot of opportunities. And then also to take the intro to special education class as well. So that way, like maybe they take year one as a sophomore, but they don't come back to year two until they're a senior, you know, something like that. So then maybe the, like, if they don't want to like double up, then they take intro to special ed as a junior, that type of thing, like to give them options. Because I have had several students actually express being interested in special education this year, so keep growing. This is really good.
This is a nice 1-2 punch for diversity, equity.
Yeah.
inclusion.
Oh, yeah.
Ready for sports? Yeah, all right. So sports photography, would be a new course. It would definitely give, the kids more options. It's a class that they've been asking for. It would be no cost except for curriculum, because the cameras, we already have the cameras. It definitely would get the kids into the community. And like you had said too, there's opportunities with, the journalism club and the day and, outside communities. But overall, it is important for the kids to get out there to their own community for, whether it's, the high school or even the younger levels too, with the sports photography, and a lot of kids like to be very entrepreneurial. So, but it would give them the opportunity to, put themselves out there and have people come to them, even outside of high school and to work, which is, I would love to have a kid come take pictures of my child playing sports, but, I think it would just make the, program definitely more hearty and more relevant. I mean, they learn so much in photo 1 and photo 2, and, as far as the pre-rec, I don't know what we would do. I think that would be phase 2, whether we decide if it was an art one, a photo 1 pre-rec. Or not, that would be something, Scala would have to kind of hash out if we do get this approved. But it would definitely prepare kids for, the future, in photojournalism and other aspects that would, help in the community, and obviously with our rise, resilient, individuals wanting to, more self-advocacy for themselves, and giving a kid a camera certainly helps them see the world in a different perspective, for sure.
And so do you see, outside, businesses and organizations working with the students through you, of course? See the involvement of the greater public in this.
I think that it's certainly a possibility to develop community partnerships with any class, but with this particular class, because Groton is a place with great open space, amazing trails, vibrant youth sports. I love that idea of, as long as everything was vetted and safe for the high school students and the younger students, if so, alike. I love the idea of seeing our students on the sidelines, out in the community. Anything we can do to get students out and about and having like real experiences that are not virtual experiences. We're trying to create as many of those as we can. And I do think that a sports photo class is one way in which to do that. And it also taps into the fact that so many students are creative and they want to do something with photography. It just gives them a bit more, I would say, expertise to work with Miss Gal, who is a professional photographer herself. So I think it would give them the grounding for something like the community partnership like you experienced. We would just have to see what was out there and make sure that everything was approved, for sure.
Yeah. And again, when do you see this starting?
If the curriculum could be written by January to get into the course study for next year, that would be our hope. We definitely could accomplish that if it's approved.
So Susan, what's that? What are the chances of those? There are 2 courses now that are thinking about doing it during the school year, not in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, that happens some of the time, and even preferentially, if the teacher wants wants it to get into the, kids' hands by the next year, they'll do it. They'll work after school, they'll work, on the weekend or whatever to do that. But we, we do have curriculum funds for that.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Yeah, so how many kids want to get into photography, one that aren't accepted? Like what kind of percentage? 'Cause I think it's probably more kids than are actually allowed in, correct?
All the classes are always full. I can speak to that, the enrollment numbers in the photography
Very
classes
popular.
are
We
excellent.
see them taking pictures all the time.
Excellent, yeah.
All around the school.
Yes.
To see them on the field, so.
Mm.
Mark
Yes.
Russell would
So
be a
more
great
than we,
mentor.
more than we can offer, more than we can accommodate.
Yeah.
Those numbers.
All right, so this will very likely be full. It's not right away, very soon. That's great. And I think, like, as you guys said, like getting kids engaged in school outside of school hours and engaged with the community is fantastic. So,
For sure.
so I definitely, and the fact that our teachers want to do this is great as well. So thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely willing to get these started right away.
And I have a question, a comment. How many, is it half year, full year?
I would be happier.
Half year. And then, in reading this, I think it's very compelling. I kind of, urge or strongly suggest an expansion. Because as you're talking about, the importance is getting out in the community. And that focus on sports is part of, the extracurriculars at Fitch, but, not all of them. So I thought, boy, this could be, they could just as easily be taking pictures of all the wonderful drama. The plays within our school system or
And even the
musical
marching bands.
performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I thought, originally I'd written down as an alternate title, action photography, because this was, there's certain technical skills of being able to capture people in motion
Yeah.
and capture that motion.
Love that.
Yeah.
But
Write that one down.
so, but that said, that's only part of it because you take pictures of people on the sidelines and everything. So maybe community photography.
Wow.
So something that just broadens it beyond sports, because that'll give, some students are going to strongly connect to sport
Yeah.
and want to take photos, but others will strongly connect to, an artist drawing, which is an action of its own. And other things too.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know right now, Ms. Scala does a lesson with is it game day or not game day? I forget what they're called. Stacy might know, but where professional pictures that they take of the players, like
Oh.
what do they call
Okay.
it? I
What
don't
do you know about
But
that?
she also,
Stacey?
but she also does that with the marching band. She does it with drama kids. So it's not, she tries
So
to
for-
include other people besides photography.
Yeah, so for the seniors on the teams and marching band,
Yeah.
she tries to do special senior photos for those
Yeah.
athletes, and it's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool. And the kids can't wait to get them done.
Yeah, they do get so
Mhm.
excited.
Yeah, so and it is like more than just the sports kids, it's pretty inclusive.
Mr. Russell takes them under his wing too. You'll see a lot of kids on the sidelines with, the video cameras and cameras. I mean, we couldn't do some of our big events without all these students who volunteer and
Yes.
have mentors on the side, like
Yeah.
Mark Russell. So,
We've had some students too, like, I don't know but like Caleb Jennings does photography for the Yukon football team.
oh,
And like that was something, like he wasn't even into photography until he took the class with Miss Scala. So I thought like he completely changed like what he wanted to do for a career, and like his pictures are so cool. So
I think it gives people, kids the understanding that, wow, this is more than just taking a photography class. Like I can actually make
Yes.
money doing this and have fun doing it,
yeah.
So it's,
Say,
5:50, 5:56. So if you've got questions, get them ready now. And then we'll,
Adrian has a final
Say the
comment.
return.
I'm just
because
gonna
I know
say
that-
that
oh, well,
I-
all right then.
I really appreciate that comment, Mike, and having a little bit, there are already a lot of kids that are interested in sports. There's lots of awards for sports and stuff. So having, alternative, ways this class can be presented seems great.
Yeah, no, I like those ideas for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
That's great.
Amy, you want to finish up?
No, I just appreciate everybody listening this evening. We were excited about our offerings and really happy to share. I think you asked some great questions and gave us definitely some really strong considerations for how we could perhaps reframe that class a little bit differently so it would cast a wider net. So just wanted to say thank you to the whole group. We have Expo night, so
Yeah.
some of us, the Fitch team is heading back to Fitch. So I hope
Okay.
that we've answered all of your questions, but certainly you can check in with Miss Austin or Miss Mancini if you wanted to follow up with us at all. All right, thanks.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you.
We'll get together and
you.
we'll talk about that. So motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Okay.